Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen. Today we're going to make chicken tikka masala, kinda. So when Julie and I were younger, we spent 6 months traveling through India by train. That's about a quarter cup of plain, unflavored yogurt. That's a pretty high-fat yogurt. It's strained, it's very thick. And so we traveled across India, top to bottom, side to side. And one of the things we noticed is that depth and breadth of Indian food, and that you could travel by train like 3 or 4 hours to the next town, the next city, and the foods may be called the same thing, but the flavors are completely different. They're spiced differently, different methods of cooking, all of that sort of thing. And so if you look online for chicken tikka masala, you're going to find so many variations, and I love all of them. They're all really good. This is just the one I'm making today. So into the yogurt, I'm going to put some salt, garam masala, turmeric, Kashmiri chili powder, and ground coriander seed. And just give that a bit of a stir, bring it all together. Now what I've got here is some boneless, skinless chicken thigh that I've chopped up. And so I bought whole chicken thighs, bone in, skin on, boned them, skinned them, put the bones and the skin in the freezer for chicken stock that I'll make later. And I just cubed this up. So we're going to marinate this. All right, so we're going to mix this up, get all the chicken fully coated in the marinade. And I'm going to stick this in the fridge for anywhere from a half an hour to an hour and let that marinade set in. Okay, so in the meantime, I made a chickpea curry. That's going in this pot right here. Going to have that with supper as well. That'll be in another video. I don't know if it's already come out or if it's about to come out. Haven't decided yet. So I'm heating up this pot and I'm going to put a little bit of oil in. Neutral oil is best. For me, neutral oil is best. Definitely you could use ghee, use whatever oil you have. You just want something to really oil the bottom of your pot, because we're going to fry off the chicken now. And one of the things about frying the chicken is if it was a little bit warmer, if I had a little bit more time today, I would have started up the barbecue. Put this chicken meat on skewers, and I would have grilled it over charcoal to get that charcoal flavor into it. That really makes this dish. But if you don't have that convenience, frying it works just as well. You could put it on a sheet pan and bake it in the oven as well. That would work really well too. So we're just going to fry it today. Okay, the oil is hot and shimmery. And in go the chicken pieces. And you just want to fry it until it's like 90% cooked. Because we're still going to build a gravy around it and bubble it in that gravy for a while. So that's going to finish the cooking. Okay, we're ready to move on. Now, in goes the green pepper. Yeah, I know, that was red and orange. The peppers I buy at the store are the ones that come in a bag, and they're called ugly or imperfect. They're the ones from the hothouses down in Niagara that just aren't quite the right shape. They're not the beautiful ones. They're sold at a huge discount, and you sort of take what you get in the bag. And sometimes there's a whole mix of colors, and sometimes it's just one color. The one that I was able to get this week just had red, yellow, and orange in it, so that's what I'm using. But green, use green. Okay, next in, some cumin seeds and some diced hot chili pepper. I'm also going to add some of these. This is curry leaf. If you can't get curry leaf, don't worry about it that much. I'm going to put in maybe a half dozen leaves down from one side of the stem. I'm able to get it, so if you're in the Toronto area, Blue Sky usually has it. Iqbal's always has it down in Thorncliffe. Iqbal's and Ajax has it quite often. And so that's what I get, a giant mess of curry leaves. Now, I'll take this down and hang it up in our basement and let it dry out. And then I will pull off the leaves and use them from dry for the next time I need a curry leaf. So stir that in. Love that sun coming through. In the springtime, since we've lost a bunch of trees in our yard, in the springtime now, that light comes in just when I'm cooking supper. It's really nice. Okay, next in, chopped up onion. And this is ginger paste and garlic paste. Smelling really good. Smells fantastic. Now this is a quick dish. This is not the slow simmering dish that is often associated with chicken tikka masala. This one specific style, I don't remember which kitchen I picked up this recipe from. When we travel, I always go into the kitchen. I always ask questions. I always write things down and take little notes. And I came back from India with a notebook filled with just basic recipes. And some of them I read them back and I think, that doesn't make sense. I've missed something. And some of them I've made again and again and again, and I really enjoy them. And this style of this dish is fantastic for me. Works for me. But there's so many options for this. Next in are the dried spices. So I've got whole coriander seed. Feel free to crush those up if you want. Turmeric and Kashmiri chili powder. Okay, next in is cashew paste. This is cashew paste. You're probably not going to find cashew paste in paste form at your grocery store. I've never seen it at my grocery store. So what I do is I take a handful, maybe a dozen raw cashews, not roasted, raw cashews, put them in a mortar and pestle and just crush them down until they become almost like a dry powder. And then I put in a couple tablespoons of water and I just grind it just a little bit more until I come up with a paste. That took me like 3 minutes. It's not a big deal. It's not difficult to do. It's not all that time consuming. Don't get freaked out by making cashew paste. It's really easy. So that goes in. Next in goes some tomato. That's a couple of tomatoes chopped up. Wintertime, hothouse tomatoes. Use canned tomatoes. You can get away with using canned tomatoes. Just cut back on the amount of water that you're going to add in the next step. So I'm going to cook this just until the tomatoes start to break down. They release their juices. Normally I would wait until the tomatoes break down a little bit more than that. I'm feeling impatient and I've got some other things I need to do. So I'm going to move on because we're going to let this stew. So in goes about 3/4 to a cup of water. Give that a stir. Okay, so I've got this on medium on my stove top, and I'm going to let this come up to a simmer. The last thing I'm going to add in is this. This is methi, or this is fresh fenugreek. If you can't get fresh fenugreek, it'll be okay, because we're not going to use a whole lot. I'm just going to cut off about maybe that many leaves and just break them up with my fingers and mix them in. There you go. Lid on, maybe a half an hour or so. Okay, so we just had the chickpea curry. Julie's already here because we tasted the chickpea curry. Look for that video. It did come out last week. Well, I guess now it's coming out last week since we tasted it first.
But now we're going to add?
Chicken tikka masala. You know what? I'm going to do its own bowl just so that we can taste it on its own.
Okay, but there is often a joy in mixing different foods together. The flavors.
When we traveled through India, we would order a bunch of food that we thought was going to go together. And they
would always kindly offer suggestions.
A little bit of fresh cilantro on top. If you like cilantro, if you don't like cilantro, don't feel you have to use it. But they would always say, oh...
You might need some of this.
You might need some of this with that. Those things don't go together. You should try something else.
So I'm curious, because not only did you just put some cilantro on here, you have Are you raising koala bears? Like, what's going on back there?
Oh, yeah, so that's the curry leaf.
Okay, so
That's
clearly not for koalas, but you know.
smallest amount of curry leaf I could get at Blue Sky today. And I also got fresh fenugreek leaf in there as well.
Ooh, so we're gonna have to come up with some other recipes for that.
I'm just gonna hang that in the basement
I was
and
gonna
let it dry.
say, can you dry it? Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Completely different
Yeah.
and wonderful.
So this is Afghani flatbread because
That's the bakery that's.
the Afghani bakery is close, and that's the one that we go to, and they make fresh flatbread there. It's
It's a nice spot.
oh, I'm digging that.
That's really good. We're not gonna talk at all. We're just
No.
gonna eat.
That's fantastic today.
It'll
It's
be
going to
better
be
tomorrow.
even better tomorrow and the next day.
Always is. Okay, I'm going for the mix.
Okay, so lay out your ingredients because there's a lot of ingredients. Take your time. Don't feel like you have to do this in 20 minutes. Take your time. Don't worry about the amount of stuff that you have going on. But if you're ready for it, it'll all just sort of slide in. And you saw the way that I laid the ingredients out on the table, my mise en place. And so I put them in the order that I'm going to use them and then just kept moving them closer to the pot as I threw them in. It helps me keep it straight on camera. But if you're sort of unsure of yourself, it'll make the cooking experience just so much easier at home.
It was really good. I'm enjoying this a lot.
Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon. You're still here. Since you're still here, let me tell you about Give Hope Wings. Last year, 2023, I flew in a charity fundraiser called Give Hope Wings that raises money for a charitable organization called Hope Air. And you, my viewers, donated $27,000 and really changed some lives, made a difference. You made a difference in people's lives. So Hope Air is a charity that works in Canada, and they provide free flights and lodging to people that live in the more remote parts of Canada if they need to get to somewhere like Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, something like that, a larger urban center, in order to receive some sort of care, cancer treatment, different types of operations, that sort of thing, that can't be done in their own community. The healthcare is covered by the Government of Canada. It is free. It's part of our universal healthcare. But getting yourself to that healthcare can be an incredible burden for people who live in those more remote communities where driving isn't practical or driving isn't possible, because we have a lot of communities in Canada that are fly in or boat in only. So that's where Hope Air comes in. They pair private pilots like myself with small aircraft to fly to these communities, pick people up, and bring them either directly to the larger urban center or to a larger urban center where commercial traffic is available. Commercial flights are available. And then from there, they cover the commercial flight to the larger center. Something that I definitely believe in. Having lived in some of those smaller communities in my younger years, I know how difficult it is, how isolating it is. And that you cannot get out when you need to sometimes. So I would encourage you, please, if you can, I will drop the link below in the description box. Take a look into Hope Air, and if you're able to, please help out and donate. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.